Okay, so we're back. So as Father Damaso and the lieutenant approach the possibility of a fistfight, Father Sibylla intervenes with philosophical and diplomatic reasoning. The lieutenant dismisses this, saying that Damaso is out of the line, and explains that the man whose body was removed from the Catholic cemetery was a friend of his, who is a very distinguished person. So what if he never went to confessions? The lieutenant says. So what? I don't go to confession either. But to claim that he committed suicide is a lie, a slur. A man like him with a son in whom he has placed all his hopes and affections, a man with a faith in God who understands his responsibilities in societies, an honorable and just man does not just commit suicide. Continuing with his story, the lieutenant says that Father Damaso exhumed his distinguished man's body from the cemetery. So when you say exhumed, you take out the body of the person from the cemetery. So you take the bones and transfer it to another burial area. The Captain General knew about this and thus transferred Damaso from San Diego as a punishment. Having finished the story, the lieutenant storms off, leaving Father Sibylla to say, I'm sorry that without knowing it, I touched upon a delicate matter. Changing the subject, one of the civilians asks about Captain Chago, the host of the party. Damaso says that there is no need for introductions because Chago is a good sort, and in any case, there are rumors that he has stepped out of the house for some reason, leaving his guests to mingle just when two other people entered the room. So that's your chapter 1. So it's a very tense atmosphere because a certain priest, Father Damaso, who used to serve the parish area, that area, was removed because he exhumed the body of a person. But Damaso wouldn't own up to his mistake because he believes that that person is a heretic and that he has the right as a parish priest to do so. But however, this is countered by the citizens who believe that that person who was exhumed was a good person. So let's go to chapter 2. So in chapter 2, turning their attention to the door, the dinner guests behold Captain Chago and a young man named Don Crisostomo Ibarra. When Chago announces Ibarra to the crowd, the entire room is silent except for several cries of surprise or bewilderment. Father Damaso, for his part, goes pale. Seeing him, Ibarra bounds over with a smile, extending his hand and saying, It's my village priest, Father Damaso, a close friend of my father's. When Damaso hesitates, all eyes on him, Ibarra voices his confusion. Finally, Father Damaso says, You are not mistaken, but your father was never a close friend of mine. Puzzled, Ibarra turns around to find the lieutenant behind him. Young man, says the lieutenant, are you Don Rafael Ibarra's son? Ibarra confirms that he is, and the lieutenant eagerly welcomes him back to the Philippines, speaking about his father using the past tense, which confirms Ibarra's suspicion, heretofore unvoiced, that his father is dead. Moving the party, Ibarra finds the subsets of the guests either awkwardly ignore him or warmly embrace him. Captain Tinong, a friend of Chago, is one of the ones who jumped to make Ibarra's acquaintance, inviting him to dinner the next day, though Ibarra must decline because he has plans to travel to San Diego. The conversation is interrupted when a waiter announces that dinner is served. Okay. Ooh. So this is actually a very tense meeting between Don Crisostomo Ibarra and Father Damaso. So if you are familiar with the characters, Crisostomo Ibarra is the protagonist of the story Noli Me Tangere, and Father Damaso, although he is not exclusively the only antagonist in this story, is probably one of those we are acquainted with at the earliest time, along with Father Sibylla. So, to give you a background, Father Damaso, as what was described in chapter 1, is sort of a self-righteous priest who is also quite a hypocrite. At the same time, he used to be friends with the father of Don Crisostomo Ibarra, who is Don Rafael Ibarra. Si Don Rafael, he was once friends with Don Rafael. However, because of some arguments or because of a certain incident, that friendship of theirs was supposedly severed. And we will know about that in the next chapter. So the next chapter is chapter 3. For a moment.